You probably read the title of this video and looked at my channel for a second and you're like, is this guy serious? But I want to draw your attention to this quote that is definitely real and I did not just make up. One can be a fan of a piece of media but is not associated with said fandom. For example, you can be a fan of My Hero Academia and that's perfectly fine, there's nothing wrong with enjoying a show that you personally like. Now, if you are one of those kind of MHA fans, then we have a different problem, which is why today I wanted to talk about the Fortnite fandom and why I don't like it that much. This video is going to be a lot more incoherent and more so just me rambling about what I don't like about the Fortnite community and what I think we can do to fix said community. I also want to say that when I bring up an example of something in the community, I'm not talking about one specific person, I'm talking about a lot of people. So don't really make this a sort of attack on someone's character or anything, because I don't bring up any actual examples as people in this video. It's more so just a group of people. Before we get into this, be sure to like and subscribe. If we hit 25k by 2026, I'll get a low taper fade because the meme is still massive, dude. Also, use code LilSmurf in the item shop, trying to get that bag. That's enough promotion. Let's go. So for starters, I want to say one thing, that this community is extremely ungrateful and spoiled. I have seen tweet after tweet, video after video complaining that Fortnite isn't adding enough and that they just don't care about their player base anymore. They're not even focusing on any of the player base. And their reasoning for this being that they don't necessarily like the content that's been added to the game, which is perfectly reasonable. I'm not saying that you have to like every single change that Epic Games makes. I myself am not a fan of a lot of changes that this company makes to the game. However, to go out of your way and say that they just don't care about the player base is extremely funny to me. Another thing is, some of those same people who said that Epic Games wasn't doing enough and wasn't caring about the player base that much, a lot of people, once Epic actually started to add a bunch of content and stuff, they started complaining that they were doing too much and there was just some oversaturation. Which, I mean, come on, bro. If you're going to have an opinion on something, at least have your opinion be consistent. And a lot of the main criticisms for modern Fortnite mainly come down to the fact that it's not OG. Which it's that's kind of the entire point. The whole point of a new chapter is to make a new era for Fortnite. That's why they're called chapters. That's why chapters 1 felt so different from chapter 2, and chapter 2 felt different from 3. 3 felt different from 4, and so on and so forth. Complaining that one era of Fortnite isn't enough like another era of Fortnite is completely dumb to me. And you are completely valid to prefer an older era of Fortnite compared to a newer era of Fortnite. But especially with OG now being a permanent game mode in the game right now, there's really no need to sort of capture that same OG feeling in main BR, because we already have that OG feeling in a completely separate mode that you can go play if you're missing that quote OG feeling. Another thing that I absolutely hate about this community is the slander that the metaverse gets. Especially in Chapter 5, a lot of things were wrong with BR in that chapter. I'm not saying that Chapter 5 was good by any means, but a lot of people pointed fingers at the metaverse for the reason that BR was failing, when it's just no. There is absolutely zero evidence that BR was affected by the metaverse in any sort of way. We can speculate and say oh yeah, they pulled people from BR to work on the metaverse modes, and they probably did a little bit, but to say that it was enough to completely change the way that BR is developed and worked on is just a crazy reach. People will also constantly criticize these modes for quote-unquote flopping because LEGO Fortnite's only pulling a mere 90k players. 90k is still insane for a side mode in a game, especially considering that this is mainly a single player based game. There is a lot of players for a single player game. Now, I've mentioned a lot of things that Fortnite players criticize the game for. Now, you might be watching this video and say wow, this community just sounds like just a toxic community, nothing crazy, but it's just a community that constantly complains about the game. Well, that's the case, but they also will defend the game till the day they die. For example, people were begging that Fortnite should win the Game Awards for Best Ongoing Game and Best Support for an Online Game, When it's like, no. Judging by the reactions that the community had to Chapter 5, people absolutely hated this chapter when it was happening. And now all of a sudden, oh yeah, this game deserves to get 2 awards for a category that a lot of people hated them for. This community is so, inconsistent with their logic sometimes. If you like a certain thing, then that's fine, but if you don't like the thing that they like, then oh, you're a terrible person. This whole community is so inconsistent with their logic, and it basically changes up every minute at this point. Every single time a chapter or even a season goes by, people are already making nostalgic edits being like, who else misses Chapter 5 Season 3? When it's like, I remember the backlash that this season got. You guys were not acting like this. And it's completely fine and valid to have your opinions change over time, but you basically go through this same song and dance every single time. In Chapter 2, oh my gosh, I missed Chapter 1 so much. In Chapter 3, oh my gosh, I missed Chapter 2 so much. In Chapter 4, oh my gosh, I missed Chapter 3. You see what I'm saying? Again, you're allowed to change your opinions, but just have some of your opinions be consistent rather than immediately putting on rose-tinted glasses for every single season. Also, the Fortnite community takes a lot of things extremely seriously and takes a lot of things not so seriously. One thing I'm bringing up is the fact that people will genuinely say that the game is dying and on a downfall because they added a new side mode, or even worse, the UI looks different. With that being said, I am personally not a fan of this new UI at all, don't get it twisted. However, just saying that this is immediately going to kill the game with any little change that Epic makes is so dumb to me. Seriously, how much is the game going to be affected if they remove rarities? Was this an L change? Yes, but it's not gonna make me go down onto Twitter and type down 10,000 paragraph essays and explaining why Fortnite is on a downfall and why the game is dying and why Tim Sweeney wants to suck every last penny out of your wallets. I'm not going to do that because I'm not a pathetic loser. I find this extremely funny because a majority of the complaints that I have about the Fortnite community can mostly be solved if I just hopped off of Twitter, but unfortunately I cannot do that because that is the platform in which every single Fortnite post and leaks and a bunch of other stuff, that's where all of that news happens. So if you're a Fortnite player, it's basically impossible for you to not somewhat interact with the Fortnite community on Twitter. Even if you yourself don't have Twitter, you definitely have interacted with Fortnite Twitter at some point in your life. People saying that the game is dying over the smallest reasons, leading to lead developers being doxxed simply because some people didn't like a change in a video game. I was talking to another content creator who had the opportunity to talk to some Epic Games employees, and they said that Epic Games themselves told them that their employees are highly encouraged to not have social media because they know what would happen if the community found out that they worked for Epic Games. Do you realize how insane that is? You're excited to finally announce that you're working on a project that you're super proud of, and then all of a sudden, you look on Twitter, and boom, your address is there because the people didn't like the change that you made to the video game. That's really all I wanted to say. Again, I'm not necessarily calling out any individuals in this video. This is more just a generalization of a group of people. I do not have ops with no one. I go to church every Sunday. I don't have beef with anyone. Love yourself. You guys are cool. Yeah, that's really all I wanted to say. Be sure to like and subscribe. With that being said, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.